guys, so today I want to talk about a show that I think I've probably talked about before, and I hinted at that I was going to make this video in my update for March, I think it was. And that was that I was finishing up the show Trigun! This copy, I'm not sure if it's a bootleg or not. I got it for a scary cheapness price on eBay. There's a little bit of things that kind of throw me off in this release, but it does have the official Funimation as a scan. Who knows? That's not what the review is about. This release is a 2 single slim packs with 2 discs and 2 discs. They don't look too much different, but there is some subtle differences. Mostly when there's guns, there's bullets that are in some and not in some. So, to explain this show, this is just going to be me reviewing the Trigun show. They did make a movie which takes place in the middle of the series. That is something else entirely. Spoiler warning here, I will probably spoil every single thing about this show. Does it mean you can't watch the show anymore? No, because everything I'm going to probably spoil will make zero fucking sense to anyone who hasn't seen the show, or the manga, or anything. The manga doesn't even explain it. So, let's begin. Vash is a plant. But that's a little too far in. Let's not talk about that. So it starts off with a character named Vash the Stampede. Basically, we figure out that he is this crazy bandit guy who kills everybody and destroys entire towns. And he's also known as the something tycoon hurricane guy because he destroys towns and he's an evil person. So we should get to follow these two insurance people. One named, I believe, Miley, and the other one, I actually don't remember her name, but they basically go and find where issues and stuff happened, and they say, hey, we're insurance people, we gonna pay money for this fight, or we aren't gonna supply the damages for this fight, or we're gonna show you how much money this fight will cost. Basically, they're just characters that follow the main character. They're looking for Vash the Stampede, which at that time they don't know what he looks like. Even when there's wanted posters all around that, I think actually the wanted poster is on here. It looks something like that, the wanted poster, yet every time they see who the actual guy is, they think it's not him. But they go to find this giant big guy with a mohawk, and they're like, oh, that's Vash, it's gotta be him. And he's a bad guy and he's killing people, and one of the people he's got captured is this blonde guy with a red coat. And of course, this total fool who's fallen over his own shoelaces somehow accidentally-ish takes out this big guy without barely doing anything. And he starts following the insurance people. And they're like, you know, dude, you gotta go away, you're freaking weird. And he's like, I like donuts! So he eats their donuts because every time there's their peace offering is, we have donuts to give you. And they're like, okay, sure. And basically the first 5-6 episodes is just different adventures of them going somewhere and then meeting Vash somehow, or this guy who they don't think is Vash but looks exactly like Vash, and he can't be Vash because he's a total fool. And those episodes basically consist of the one I just explained. There's one where there's a guy who needs someone who looks like Vash, so he hires Vash to protect his household, and we figure out he actually is a guy who steals water and he's keeping it for himself so he can sell it for money, which is very profitable because this whole place takes part in a desert of a planet that looks like Earth. It totally seems like Earth until about 6 to 10 episodes to whatever left of the show, where it takes a deep, dark twist to the entire thing. and we figure out that Vash isn't from this planet, and like he had a brother who was evil, and their operation, the people that they were with, was to bring plants and the human civilization that was left from the dying Earth to a planet that could withstand human life. And it's like, the fuck? And we learn that's 100 years before the events we just saw, which makes Vash 120 at least. Like, it's weird. So his evil brother named Knives, of course, when they're trying to bring the civilization, he kills all the people and tries to wipe out the ships that were bringing humans to this Earth, because he thinks humans are in whatever the word is, you know, not equal to them, which we don't really know what they are. It's not really explained until the very end. And one of the people that were there was a woman named Rem. For some reason, Vash had like a weird relationship with Rem, even to the point of where he cut his hair, or she cut his hair, to make it look like this guy that she knew, which is never shown, never talked about, except for like 2 scenes. And I guess Rem also told Vash that no one deserves to die, and everyone should have a second chance, kind of thing. And while Knives is like, that's stupid, if they deserve to die, we'll just kill them. Even if they don't deserve to die, we'll just kill them. And without saying too much, of course there's people on this planet now, over 100 to 200. How many years later, civilization's built up, but it's like cowboyish, right? They're in deserts, they have saloons. It just looks like a cowboy time, but in reality, they're not on Earth. They're on a planet that Earth has gone so far in its time where it physically destroyed itself, and they had to move civilization. So that's why there's like multiple moons and stuff in the sky. And then we figured out that Vash's whole point in life at this moment, after those first few episodes, just kind of strange the show takes this turn to a comedy to this. We basically figure out that he wants to, what was the words? Take care of Knives, and at the time he doesn't know if that is to kill Knives or to help him out, in the sense of like, hey dude, don't do this, and he'll be like, okay, kind of thing. So the whole thing consists of this guy that Knives has hired, like a second man, to hire other people to kill him, and it's like kind of different bosses up to the secondary boss, up to the main boss, which from, I don't know, like 12 episodes up is basically what the show is, until the very last episode. Now, of course, I'm not telling you everything, because you should go watch the show, but naturally, in the end, he fights Knives, which the conclusion up to that point could have been done a lot better. Like, the whole fight is interesting, but it just could have been better, in my opinion. But of course, he fights Knives. There's a Dirty Harry kind of moment with a gun, which is, if you're paying attention, it's kind of cool. It's one of those like count the bullets thing, which worked out actually kind of well, because I was doing it without actually knowing that's how it was gonna end up, kind of thing. Because there's six bullets? Yeah, I think it's 6 bullets in a chamber, so it's just knowing that scene is kind of cool. And of course, good guys prevail. And the show ends where Vash, if you watch up to the end of the credits, the show ends where it's like, they could make more if they wanted to. If they really wanted to, they could pull something out of their ass and make more Trigun. Now, the original manga was 2 volumes, about 250 pages each, I believe. No, maybe 350. I think it's 350 pages each. Whole bunch for one manga, right? And there's 2 of them. Then they remade the manga, because the manga from the show is the same, but it's different. Little chapters the same, but then there's like whole things in between that are different, and then timeline differences where one thing happened here, but in the show it happened way over here, so it doesn't make a lot of sense that way. So if you're reading the manga then going to the show, you won't be spoiled to the show if you read the original manga. They remade the manga and called it Trigun Maximum, I believe, which I believe is more like the show. I don't know if it went past the show. The show just ends in a way of where it's like, they could make more, if they wanted to. Now, to explain the movie. I have seen the movie in Japanese. I haven't seen the dub. I believe the DVD is being released soon, but I've seen it in Japanese way back when it aired, like in Japan, and my friend got a copy and we watched it. It takes place in the middle of the series. Where? I guess you could probably pinpoint where it happened, but it is a filler movie in the sense of where it's like it doesn't need to be there, but they could fit it in there. It's like the Cowboy Bebop movie if you've seen it. It's in the middle of the series somewhere. It doesn't really make sense where, but it's there. And it's a whole thing on its own. I want to see the dub because the dub of this show is hilariously bad. But in like a good 90s way that it's bad. Like, I'm not sure if it was purposely made bad, because I kind of think it was. I just want to see how they dubbed it, the movie, if they try to make it sound like this or not. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about that. Yeah, and Vash is a plant. Not sure if I mentioned that. Vash is a plant.